The orbital station smelled like recycled air and broken dreams. Dae-hyun walked slowly through the main corridor, his prosthetic leg clicking softly against the metal floor. He had fought in the border wars, lost his leg to a plasma mine, and spent 2 years learning to walk again. Now he was here, in Refuge 7, the galaxy's largest foster care facility. The insectoid administrator, Director Kurel, chittered nervously as she led him through the observation area. Behind thick glass walls, alien children of dozens of species played together. Some flew, some crawled, some simply floated. Dae-hyun watched them quietly. "We appreciate humanity's interest in our program," Kurel said, her translator turning her clicks into flat, emotionless words. "Though I must say, very few humans participate in cross-species fostering. It is quite unusual." Dae-hyun said nothing. He just kept watching the children. Kurel continued her rehearsed speech. "We have many wonderful children available. Strong, healthy specimens from good genetic lines. I can show you the files of the most suitable candidates." "What about her?" Dae-hyun pointed to a corner of the room. A small alien girl sat alone on a bench, away from the other children. Her skin shifted colors slowly, moving from dull gray to muddy brown, and back again. She was Velkari. Dae-hyun knew. He had fought alongside a few during the war. They were usually bright, vibrant beings with skin that flashed like rainbows when they were happy. This girl looked like a dying light. Kurel's mandibles clicked in what might have been disapproval. "That is Hana. She is not suitable for fostering." "Why not?" "She is defective." Kurel said the word without emotion, as if describing a broken machine. "Her color-shifting ability is unstable. A genetic flaw. Her own people rejected her as an infant. She has been here for 3 years. 47 families have declined to foster her." Dae-hyun watched as another child, a floating gas bag species, drifted near Hana. The girl's skin flickered briefly with yellow, before fading back to gray. She had wanted to play. The other child floated away without acknowledging her. "What happens to children who don't get fostered?" Dae-hyun asked. Kurel shifted uncomfortably. "They remain in institutional care until adulthood. It is not ideal. But resources must be allocated efficiently. We cannot spend disproportionate care on those who are impaired." "She's 8 years old. Yes, a difficult age. Past the optimal fostering window. And with her condition, I'll take her." Kurel's antennae shot straight up. "Excuse me? I want to foster Hana. What do I need to sign?" The director stared at him with her compound eyes. "Mr. Dae-hyun, I do not think you understand. She requires special care. Her emotional regulation is poor because of her condition. She will be difficult. There are so many other children who would be much easier to—" "I didn't come here for easy." Dae-hyun looked at the director steadily. "I came here for a child who needs a home. That girl needs a home." Kurel made a sound like grinding gears. "This is highly irregular. Cross-species fostering is rare enough. But fostering a defective child? The medical costs alone. I have military medical benefits, and a friend who's a doctor on New Jeju Colony. She'll help. But why would you want?" "Because nobody else does." Dae-hyun said it simply, as if it explained everything. To him, it did. Kurel tried several more times to dissuade him. She brought up compatibility concerns, cultural differences, the girl's emotional problems. Dae-hyun listened politely and repeated that he wanted to foster Hana. Finally, the director realized he would not be moved. "I will prepare the paperwork," she said stiffly. "But I must tell you, I have never seen this work. You will likely return her within a month." "I won't." Kurel led him into the common room. The other children scattered away from the strange human. But Hana remained on her bench. She looked up as they approached, her skin shifting to a cautious brown. "Hana," Kurel said, "this human wishes to speak with you." Dae-hyun sat down on the bench, leaving space between them. Hana stared at him with large, dark eyes. "Are you here to look at me? I'm here to take you home. If you want to come." Her skin flickered rapidly through several colors before settling on dark gray. "No, you're not. Nobody wants to foster me. They just look and then leave. You'll leave too. I'm not like the others." "Yes, you are. Everyone says they might want me, but then Director Curel tells them about my condition, and they change their minds. It's okay. I'm used to it." The resignation in her voice broke something in Daehyun's chest. She was 8 years old, and already believed she was worthless. "I already know about your condition," he said quietly. "Director Krell told me. I still want you to come home with me." Hana's skin went completely still, locked in gray. "You're lying." "I'm not. Why would you want me?" "I'm broken. Everyone says so." Daehyun was quiet for a moment. Then he tapped his prosthetic leg. It made a hollow sound. "I'm broken too. Lost this in the war. Does that mean I don't deserve a home?" Hana looked at the prosthetic, then back at his face. Her skin shifted slightly. Just a hint of yellow breaking through the gray. "Hope." Carefully guarded. "It's different," she whispered. "It's not." Daehyun met her eyes. "You and me. We're both just people who got dealt a tough hand. But that doesn't mean we're worthless. It just means we have to work a little harder. And I think we can do that together. What do you say?" Hana stared at him for a long time. Her skin shifted slowly through colors gray to brown to the faintest hint of yellow. She was afraid to believe him. Afraid to hope again. "If I come with you," she said slowly, "and you decide you don't want me after all, it will hurt more than if I just stay here. Then it's good that I'm not going to change my mind. You promise?" Daehyun held out his hand. "I promise. I'm taking you home, Hana. For real. For keeps." She looked at his hand for a long moment. Then, very slowly, she reached out and took it. Her small hand disappeared in his larger one. Her skin flickered with yellow, just for a second, before fading back to cautious brown. But it was a start. The ship was small but clean. Daehyun had converted an old military transport into a personal vessel after the war. It had 2 bedrooms, a small galley, and a cockpit that still smelled faintly of engine grease and coffee. He had cleaned out the 2nd bedroom before going to Refuge 7, putting in a simple bed and leaving the walls bare. He figured Hana could decorate it herself if she wanted. For the first 3 days of the journey to New Jeju Colony, Hana barely left that room. She came out for meals when Daehyun called her, sat silently at the small table, and ate only a few bites before retreating again. Her skin stayed dull gray the entire time. She spoke only when directly asked a question, and even then, her answers were short. "Do you like the food?" "It's fine." "Is your room comfortable?" "Yes." "Do you need anything?" "No." Daehyun did not push. He had seen enough trauma in the war to know that healing took time. He just maintained his routines. He woke up at the same time each day, made breakfast, worked on ship maintenance, made lunch, exercised in the small cargo hold, made dinner, and read before bed. He told Hana when meals were ready and when it was bedtime. He did not demand anything more from her. On the 4th day, something changed. Daehyun was in the cockpit, running a diagnostic on the navigation systems, when he heard a loud crash from the engine room. He got up quickly, his prosthetic leg protesting the sudden movement, and went to investigate. Hana stood in the middle of the engine room, surrounded by pieces of a control panel. Her skin flashed bright red, cycling rapidly through crimson and scarlet. Fear. Panic. "I'm sorry," she said immediately, her voice high and tight. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I was just looking, and I touched something, and it came apart, and I'm sorry." She backed into the corner, making herself as small as possible. Her skin flickered between red and dark gray so fast it almost hurt to look at. She was waiting for punishment. Expecting it. Daehyun looked at the broken panel, then at her. He kept his voice calm. "Are you hurt?" Hana blinked. What? Are you hurt? Did you cut yourself on the metal? No. But I broke. It's okay. It's just a panel cover. I can fix it. Dae-hyun walked slowly to the scattered pieces and started picking them up. Actually, this is a good chance to show you how the engine interface works. Want to learn? Hana stared at him like he had grown a second head. You're not angry? Why would I be angry? I broke something. You made a mistake. That's different. Dae-hyun sorted through the pieces. Mistakes are how we learn. Now we know that this panel isn't secured very well. I should have fixed that already. So really, you did me a favor by finding the problem. Her skin slowly stopped flashing red. The gray remained, but the panic faded. Other adults get angry when I break things, she said quietly. Well, I'm not other adults. Dae-hyun found the fasteners and started reattaching the panel. Come here. I'll show you how this works. Hesitantly, Hana approached. Dae-hyun explained each component in simple terms, showing her which parts were safe to touch and which ones to avoid. She listened intently, her skin gradually shifting from gray to a lighter brown. Not happy. Not yet. But less afraid. After that, something changed between them. Hana started coming out of her room more. She would sit in the cockpit while Dae-hyun piloted, watching the stars stream past in hyperspace. She asked questions sometimes, and he answered them patiently. She started eating more at meals, though still not much. On the sixth day, Dae-hyun made a call to New Jeju. The holographic projection showed a woman in her mid-30s with sharp eyes and a warm smile. Dr. Minji, Dae-hyun said, thanks for taking my call. Of course. So you actually did it. You fostered a kid. Minji leaned forward, curious. Can I see her? Can I see her? Dae-hyun looked over at Hana, who had been sitting in the corner reading on a datapad. She looked up nervously. 7. Reigned. 2. Hana, come here. I want you to meet my friend. Hana approached slowly, staying partially behind Dae-hyun's chair. Minji's expression softened. Hello, Hana. I'm Minji. I'm a doctor on New Jeju Colony. Dae-hyun told me about you. And I'm going to help make sure you're healthy when you arrive. Is that okay? An exam. And de ground. When then one side. Hana's skin flickered with brown and gray. I have a condition. It can't be fixed. Says who? Everyone. The doctors at the station. My people. Everyone. Minji smiled. Well, human doctors love being told something can't be done. It's like a challenge. How about we take a look when you get here and see what we can figure out? No promises, but I've got some ideas. Hana looked at Dae-hyun uncertainly. He nodded encouragingly. Okay, Hana said softly. After the call ended, Hana stayed in the cockpit. She was quiet for a while, staring out at the stars. Finally, she spoke. Why did you want me? Dae-hyun had been expecting this question. He thought carefully about his answer. During the war, he said slowly, I got trapped behind enemy lines after I lost my leg. I was hurt, bleeding, couldn't walk. My unit had to leave me behind to complete their mission. That's just how war works sometimes. I thought I was going to die there. Hana listened, her skin shifting to a focused brown. But 3 days later, a human ship came back. It wasn't my unit. It was a different squad, on a different mission. They picked up my distress signal and went completely off course to find me. They risked their lives, wasted fuel and time, all to save one injured soldier they didn't even know. He looked at Hana. The squad leader, when I asked him why they came back for me, he said, because nobody gets left behind, not on our watch. That's when I understood something about humans. We don't give up on people just because it's hard or inconvenient. Everyone deserves someone who won't give up on them. Does. Well, even defective people? Hana's voice was small. You're not defective. You're different. And different isn't bad. It's just different. Hana was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "At the station, I would watch other children get fostered. Happy children with perfect genetics and good social scores. I used to think that maybe if I was better, if I tried harder to control my colors, someone would want me. But it never worked. I started to think maybe I wasn't supposed to be wanted." Dae-hyun felt a surge of anger at every person who had made this child feel worthless. But he kept his voice gentle. "You are supposed to be wanted. You are wanted. By me. You're coming home, Hana. Not because you're perfect, but because you're you. And that's enough." For the first time since leaving the station, Hana's skin flickered with yellow. Just a brief flash, gone almost immediately, swallowed back into cautious brown. But Dae-hyun saw it. Hope. She was starting to hope. That night, Hana ate almost her whole dinner. It wasn't much, but it was progress. And when she went to bed, she left her door open instead of closing it tight. Small steps, but steps forward nonetheless. New Jeju Colony was built into the side of a mountain, its domed structures gleaming in the light of a blue sun. The colony was small. Only about 5,000 humans and a few hundred aliens who preferred human company. Dae-hyun's house sat on the outskirts, a modest single-story structure with a small garden in front. When they landed, Hana pressed her face against the window, her skin shifting through uncertain browns and grays. "It's very open," she said. "You'll get used to it. Come on, let's go inside." The house was simple. A living area with comfortable furniture, a kitchen that smelled like spices. Dae-hyun had been cooking with that morning. 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. Hana wandered through it slowly, touching things carefully as if they might break. "This is your room," Dae-hyun said, opening a door. "You can decorate it however you want. We can get paint, posters, whatever you like." Hana stared at the empty room. She had never had her own space before. At the station, she had shared a dormitory with 20 other children. "It's mine," she whispered. "It's yours." Her skin flickered with yellow before settling back to brown, still afraid to believe it was real. That first week was hard. Hana jumped at loud noises. She apologized constantly for tiny things. She ate very little and spent most of her time in her room. At night, Dae-hyun could hear her crying softly, though she tried to muffle the sound. But slowly, things began to change. The neighbors came by. First was Hyun-woo, who lived next door and ran the local school. He was a former soldier too, older than Dae-hyun, with kind eyes and laugh lines around his mouth. "Heard you brought a kid home," he said, standing on the porch with a covered dish. "Wife made extra kimchi stew. Figured you could use it." When Hana met him, her skin went pale with nervousness. But Hyun-woo just smiled at her. "Nice to meet you, Hana. I run the school here. Whenever you're ready, we have a spot for you. No rush, though. Settle in first." After he left, Hana asked, "He wants me? At the school?" "Of course. Why wouldn't he? Because I'm alien. Because I'm defective. Neither of those things matter here." But Hana didn't believe him. Not yet. Dr. Minji came by the next day. She did a full examination in the house, keeping everything calm and comfortable. Hana was tense at first, but Minji talked to her the whole time, explaining what she was doing and why. "Okay," Minji said finally, reviewing her scans. "Here's what I found. Your color-shifting ability isn't defective. It's actually a rare mutation. Only about 1 in every 100,000 Velkari have it. But it doesn't work right," Hana said. "I can't control it. That's because nobody ever taught you how. The Velkari medical establishment doesn't research rare mutations. They just label them as defects and move on. But I think with the right treatment and some training, we can help you gain better control. It won't be instant, but it's possible." Hana's skin shifted through several colors rapidly. Confusion, hope, disbelief. "You mean I'm not broken?" "You were never broken, sweetie. You were just different, and nobody bothered to help you." But we're going to help you now. That night, Hana had a nightmare. Dae-hyun woke to the sound of her screaming. He rushed to her room and found her curled up in bed, her skin flashing red and black, caught between fear and despair. Hana, it's okay. You're safe. I'm here. She grabbed onto him, her small body shaking. They're going to take me back. They're going to send me back to the station. Nobody keeps me. Nobody ever keeps me. Dae-hyun held her gently. I'm keeping you. I promised. Remember? And I don't break my promises. Everyone breaks promises. I don't. You're stuck with me now. For keeps. He sat with her until she fell back asleep, her skin gradually fading from red to gray to a soft brown. Then, he went back to his own room. He did this every night for 2 weeks. Every time she had a nightmare, he came. Every time. On the 3rd week, Hana started school. Hyun-woo introduced her to the class of mixed human and alien children. Most of them smiled at her. One girl, a human named Yuna with bright eyes and wild hair, immediately declared that Hana would be her friend. I like your colors, Yuna said. They're pretty. Hana's skin flickered with surprised yellow. But not everyone was kind. During lunch break, a Velkari child approached Hana. He was visiting the colony with his diplomatic family, and his skin was vibrant and perfectly controlled, shifting in beautiful patterns. You're one of us, he said, looking at Hana with disgust. But you're wrong. Your colors are muddy and unstable. You shame our people. By existing, Hana's skin went dark gray. She started to respond, to apologize, but Yuna stepped between them. Shut up, Yuna said flatly. The Velkari boy blinked. You heard me. Shut up. Hana is my friend, and you don't get to talk to her like that. She is defective. It is simply a fact. And you're a jerk. That's a fact too. The boy's skin flashed with indignant purple. He said something else, something cruel in his own language. Hyun-woo broke up the fight quickly, but when he heard what happened, he didn't punish Yuna. Instead, he sent the Velkari boy to the principal's office and called his parents. We don't tolerate that kind of talk here, Hyun-woo said firmly. Every child deserves respect, including Hana. When Dae-hyun came to pick up Hana, she told him everything. Her skin was shifting through colors rapidly, unable to settle on one emotion. Yuna got in trouble because of me, she said miserably. No, Yuna stood up for you because she's your friend. That's different. But the boy was right. I am defective. Dae-hyun knelt down so he was at her eye level. Listen to me. That boy was wrong. You are not defective. You are not wrong. You are exactly who you're supposed to be. And anyone who can't see that isn't worth your time. But I can't control my colors like other Velkari. So what? You can do other things. You're smart. You're kind. You're brave. Those things matter more than perfect color control. Hana looked at him with her large, dark eyes. Her skin slowly stabilized to a light brown with hints of yellow. She was starting to believe him. Not completely, not yet, but more than before. That evening, Yuna came over with her parents. They brought dinner and ate with Dae-hyun and Hana. The adults talked, while the children played a board game. Hana was hesitant at first, but Yuna was patient with her, explaining the rules and celebrating when Hana made a good move. By the end of the night, Hana was laughing. Her skin flashed bright yellow, pure and clear. Joy. Real joy. Dae-hyun watched from the kitchen, feeling something warm in his chest. Hana was healing. It would take time, but she was getting there. That night, when she went to bed, Hana said, Yeah, thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for giving me a chance. Her skin glowed soft yellow as she fell asleep. And for the first time since bringing her home, she slept through the night without nightmares. 3 months after Hana came home, the message arrived. Dae-hyun was making breakfast when his communication terminal chimed with an official galactic frequency. He frowned and opened it. The holographic seal of the Velkari Diplomatic Corps appeared, followed by a stern-faced alien official, Mr. Dae-hyun of Earth Colony New Jeju. You are hereby summoned to appear before the Galactic Court in 14 days regarding the fostering of the minor child designated as Hana. The Velkari government has filed a petition for her immediate return to proper Velkari custody. Failure to appear will result in legal sanctions and forced removal of the child. This message constitutes official legal notice. The hologram ended. Dae-hyun stood very still for a moment. Then, he called Ambassador Kwan. Ambassador Kwan was a sharp woman in her 60s who had spent 30 years in galactic diplomacy. She had seen every trick and political game the galaxy had to offer, and she had learned to play them better than most aliens expected from a human. When Dae-hyun explained the situation, her expression hardened. "They're doing this because you made them look bad," she said. "Reports about Hana's improvement have been spreading through galactic social services. The Velkari are embarrassed that a human succeeded where their entire species failed. So now, they want her back to save face. Can they do that? They can try. Cross-species fostering falls into a legal gray area. They'll argue that you can't properly care for an alien child, that her cultural needs aren't being met, that she belongs with her own people." Kwan paused. "But we have advantages. Dr. Minji's medical reports show Hana is thriving. That matters in Galactic Court. What do I need to do? Get ready to fight for your daughter," Dae-hyun told Hana that night. He tried to keep his voice calm, but she knew something was wrong immediately. Her skin went pale gray. "They want me back," she said. "It wasn't a question. Yes, but I'm not going to let them take you. You can't stop them. They're the government. They're powerful. So am I." Dae-hyun knelt down in front of her. "Hana, listen to me. I promised you that you were coming home for keeps. I meant it. We're going to fight this, and we're going to win. Okay?" Her skin flickered uncertainly. "What if we don't? Then we'll fight harder." Over the next 2 weeks, Dr. Minji prepared detailed medical reports. Hyun-woo gathered testimony from teachers and other students. Yuna's parents wrote letters about Hana's integration into the community. The entire colony rallied around them, but Hana grew quieter each day. Her colors dulled. She stopped eating as much. The nightmares came back. "I don't want to go," she whispered one night after waking up screaming. "Please, don't let them take me." "I won't. I promise." "You can't promise that. You're just one person. They're an entire government." Dae-hyun held her close. "You'd be surprised what one person can do when they refuse to give up." The day of the hearing arrived. Galactic Court Station was massive, a spinning ring in space where representatives from hundreds of species gathered to settle disputes. Dae-hyun wore his old military uniform, the medals from his service clearly displayed. Hana wore a simple dress that Yuna's mother had made for her. Her skin was locked in nervous gray. Ambassador Kwan met them at the entrance. "Remember, stay calm. Answer questions directly. And Hana, you don't have to testify if you don't want to. You're a child. Nobody expects you to speak." "I want to speak," Hana said quietly. "I want to tell them what happened." The courtroom was designed to accommodate multiple species, with platforms and atmosphere-controlled sections. The judge was a massive crystalline being that communicated through light pulses, translated for everyone by the court systems. High Magistrate Thel represented the Velkari government. He was an older male, with perfectly controlled coloring, his skin displaying formal patterns of authority. When he looked at Hana, his colors shifted to disapproving brown. This child was abandoned by her biological parents and placed into galactic care. Thel began. "She is Velkari. She belongs with Velkari caretakers who understand her needs, her culture, her biology. Instead, she has been taken by a human who cannot possibly provide appropriate care." Ambassador Kwan stood. The child was rejected by 47 potential foster families, including multiple Velkari families. She spent 3 years in institutional care, with no prospects. My client provided her with a loving home when nobody else would. "Love is not enough," Thel said coldly. Humans do not understand Velkari physiology. They cannot teach her proper color control. They cannot integrate her into Velkari society. This child will grow up culturally confused and medically neglected. If I may present evidence, Quan said. She activated a holographic display showing Dr. Minji's reports. These are comprehensive medical scans, taken over the past 3 months. Hana has gained weight. Her stress hormones have decreased significantly. Her color-shifting ability, which was labeled as unstable and untreatable by Velkari doctors, has begun to stabilize under human medical care. Thel's skin flashed irritated orange. Temporary improvements do not outweigh fundamental cultural incompatibility. Then let's discuss culture. In the 3 years Hana spent in galactic care, how many times did Velkari cultural representatives visit her? How many times did her own people check on her well-being? Thel was silent. The answer is 0, Quan continued. Not once did the Velkari government, or any Velkari citizen, express interest in this child, until a human gave her a home. Now suddenly, she's culturally important? She is Velkari. That does not change. No, but it also doesn't mean she belongs with people who have already rejected her once. The judge's light pulsed, indicating they wanted to hear from Hana. The translator announced that the child could testify if she wished. Hana stood up slowly. Daehyun squeezed her hand gently before letting go. She walked to the center platform, her skin shifting nervously through grays and browns. "My name is Hana," she began, her voice small but steady. "I am 8 years old. I was born with a rare genetic mutation that makes my color shifting different from other Velkari. My parents left me at a medical facility when I was 3 months old. They never came back." Her skin flickered darker. "I lived at Refuge 7 for 3 years. 47 families looked at me. 47 families said no. Some of them were Velkari families. They said I was defective. They said I would be too expensive to care for. They said I would embarrass them. So I stayed at the station with the other unwanted children." She took a deep breath. Her colors began to shift more rapidly, but this time, with purpose. Then Daehyun came. He looked at me and he said he wanted to take me home. I didn't believe him. Nobody had ever wanted me before. But he kept his promise. He took me to his home on New Jeju. He made sure I had food and a bed and medical care. When I had nightmares, he sat with me. When I broke things, he taught me how to fix them instead of getting angry. When other children were mean to me, he told me I wasn't defective. He told me I was exactly who I was supposed to be. Her skin began to glow brighter, yellow starting to break through. He didn't save me because I was perfect. He didn't save me because it was easy. He saved me because I needed saving. And that's what humans do. They don't give up on people just because it's hard. They don't abandon people just because they're different. She turned to look at High Magistrate Thel. "You want to take me back to Velkari custody. But where were you 3 years ago? Where were you when I was alone at the station? Where were you when I was crying myself to sleep every night because nobody wanted me? You didn't care about me then. You only care now because a human showed you that I could be loved and helped. And that makes you look bad." Her skin was glowing bright yellow now, with streaks of orange. Defiance. Strength. I am Velkari. But I am also Daehyun's daughter now. And I want to stay with my family. My real family. The one that chose me. 3. The courtroom was completely silent. The judge's light pulsed for several long moments. Then the translator spoke. "This court finds that the child's welfare is best served by remaining in the custody of Daehyun of New Jeju Colony. The Velkari petition is denied. Furthermore, this court notes that the child was abandoned by Velkari society and only reclaimed after human intervention proved successful. This pattern is concerning and will be reviewed by the Galactic Foster Care Commission." Thel's skin flashed dark purple with rage, but he said nothing. There was nothing he could say. Hana ran to Daehyun. He caught her and held her tight as she cried into his shoulder, her skin glowing brilliant gold. Relief. Joy. Safety. "I told you we'd win," he whispered. "I know. I believe you now." Ambassador Quan smiled. But her smile had an edge to it, as she watched the other galactic representatives whisper among themselves. They had just seen something that made them deeply uncomfortable. Humans didn't abandon their own. Not even the ones who weren't technically their own species. And that made humanity far more dangerous than anyone had realized. The judgment echoed through the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Within hours, news feeds across hundreds of worlds carried the story of a human veteran who fought a planetary government for the right to keep one disabled alien child. The footage of Hana's testimony went viral on galactic networks, but it wasn't the happy ending that captured everyone's attention. It was what happened after. Ambassador Quan requested a private meeting with the assembled galactic representatives before they all left the station. They came, more out of curiosity than anything else. She stood before them in a simple suit, her gray hair pulled back, her expression calm. "I want to make sure we're all clear on what happened today," she said. "A child was abandoned, rejected, written off as worthless by her own species, and ignored by 47 other families. She spent 3 years in institutional care, with no prospects and no hope." She paused, letting that sink in. Then one human, a disabled veteran with limited resources, took her home. He got her medical care. He sat with her through nightmares. He taught her that she had value. In 3 months, he accomplished what 3 years of your galactic foster system could not. He gave her a future. High Magistrate Thel, still present, said coldly, "Your point, Ambassador. My point is this. You just saw what humans do for one child, who isn't even our species. One child that everyone else threw away. We crossed legal boundaries, spent resources we could barely afford, and fought your entire government to keep her safe." Quan's voice dropped, but somehow became more intense. "Now imagine what we would do for our own people. For our allies. For anyone who asks us for help. We don't calculate cost-benefit ratios when someone is in danger. We don't abandon people because it's inconvenient. We don't give up just because the odds are bad." Several representatives shifted uncomfortably. They were beginning to understand. "You've fought wars with us," Quan continued. "You've seen our military tactics. You know we take ridiculous casualties to recover wounded soldiers. You know we'll divert entire fleets to rescue a single ship. You thought that was a tactical weakness. Bad resource management." She smiled, and it wasn't a kind smile. "But now you've seen that it's not just military doctrine. It's who we are. It's built into our culture so deep that a random civilian will fight the same way. And that should terrify you." "Is that a threat?" asked a representative from the Kresh Collective, a species known for their logical approach to warfare. "It's a warning," Quan said. "You can't break us through attrition. You can't make us abandon our people by making the cost too high. There is no cost too high. That child in there? We'll burn down your entire government before we let you take her. And if we'll do that for one alien child, imagine what we'll do for Earth, for our colonies, for our allies." The room was very quiet. "Humanity's greatest weapon isn't our technology or our numbers," Quan said. "It's our refusal to accept that anyone is expendable. That makes us unpredictable. That makes us dangerous. Because you can't negotiate with someone who won't trade lives for convenience." She looked at each representative in turn. "So yes, you lost a custody case today. But what you really lost was the comfortable belief that you could predict human behavior based on rational self-interest. You can't. We're not rational about our people. We never will be." She turned to leave, then stopped. "Oh, and one more thing. We're going to start fostering more of your unwanted children. The ones you've written off. The defective ones. The expensive ones. The inconvenient ones. We're going to give them homes. And when they thrive, the galaxy will see exactly how much potential you've been throwing away. So, you might want to reconsider your approach to child welfare." Because we're about to make you look very bad. She left. The representatives sat in stunned silence. High Magistrate. Thel's skin flickered with dark, angry colors. She's bluffing. Humans don't have the resources to. She's not bluffing, said the Kresh representative quietly. I fought against humans in the border wars. I saw them divert 3 battleships to rescue a damaged medical frigate that had no strategic value. They lost one of those battleships. When I asked the human admiral why, she said, because those were our people. Not her crew. Not her ship. Just humans she'd never met. They spent a battleship on strangers. He looked at the others. Quan is right. They don't calculate cost the way we do. And that does make them dangerous. Because you can't predict what someone will sacrifice when they refuse to abandon anyone. The meeting broke up slowly, with representatives returning to their ships to file reports. Within days, those reports reached their home governments. The analysis varied, but the conclusion was almost universal. Humanity had just revealed a fundamental aspect of their nature that made them either the galaxy's best ally or worst enemy, depending on which side you were on. Meanwhile, Dae-hyun and Hana went home. The colony threw a celebration. Neighbors brought food, children played in the streets, and Yuna declared it the best day ever. Hana's skin glowed with colors that shifted between yellow and gold and bright orange, pure joy mixed with excitement. But late that night, after everyone had left and Hana was asleep, Dae-hyun sat on his porch with Dr. Minji. You know what you started, right? Minji said. I just wanted to give a kid a home. And now every human who saw that trial is thinking about fostering. I've already had 20 messages from people asking about the process. The galactic foster system is going to be flooded with human applications. Dae-hyun smiled slightly. Good. Those kids deserve better than what they've been getting. The galaxy isn't ready for this. They're used to species that calculate resource allocation. We're about to show them what it looks like when a species just decides to care. Consequences be damned. Maybe they need to see it. Minji laughed. You broke their entire worldview with one foster kid. Do you know how many governments are probably scrambling right now to figure out how to handle humanity? Not my problem. I just wanted Hana to be safe. And in the process, you made humanity look terrifying. Good. Dae-hyun said quietly. Maybe if they're scared of our compassion, they'll think twice before hurting anyone we care about. 6 months later, Hana stood in front of her class to give a presentation. Her skin was bright and stable, shifting through colors with deliberate control. Dr. Minji's treatments were working. She would never have normal Valkyrie color control, but she had learned to work with her unique abilities instead of fighting them. My project is about family, Hana said. I used to think family was about biology, about being the same species or having the same genetics. But I learned that family is about choice. It's about the people who show up when you're scared, who sit with you when you have nightmares, who fight for you when everyone else gives up. She looked at Dae-hyun, who sat in the back of the classroom with the other parents. My dad taught me that being different isn't the same as being broken. He taught me that everyone deserves someone who won't give up on them. And he taught me that humans are really, really stubborn when they care about someone. The class laughed. There are 43 other human families in this colony who have fostered alien children now, Hana continued. Kids that nobody else wanted. And all of them are doing better. Not because humans are perfect, but because humans don't give up. That's what makes them special. After school, Yuna walked home with them. She and Hana had become inseparable, constantly together. Are you scared? Yuna asked. About the galaxy being mad at humans? Hana's skin shifted to thoughtful brown. No. Because I've seen what humans do when someone threatens their family. The galaxy should be the scared ones. Dae-hyun smiled. His daughter was learning. That night, as he tucked Hana into bed, she said, Dae-hyun? I mean, Dad? It was the first time she'd called him that. His throat tightened. Yeah, kiddo. Thank you for being stubborn. Thank you for giving me a reason to be. Her skin glowed soft gold as she fell asleep. Outside, in the darkness between stars, galactic governments were rewriting their assessments of humanity. They were trying to calculate how to deal with a species that treated compassion as a weapon. They were running simulations, planning strategies, preparing for a future where humanity's refusal to abandon anyone made them the most dangerous ally or enemy in the galaxy. But in a small house on New Jeju Colony, none of that mattered. What mattered was that a child who had been told she was worthless now knew she was loved. What mattered was that a man who had been broken by war had found something worth fighting for again. The galaxy could be scared. That was fine, because humanity had just shown them something they had forgotten. That sometimes, the most powerful force in the universe isn't technology or logic or military might. Sometimes it's just refusing to give up on someone who needs you. And humanity would never, ever give up. Not on their own. Not on their allies. Not on one small alien girl who just needed someone to care. That was what made them dangerous. That was what made them human. And the galaxy would just have to deal with it.